Yeah, what up, YouTube fam? It's your man Musician back with part 2 of my little series on what black women really think about nice guys. And I just kind of wanted to explain some of my perceptions about what I think and what I thought about what some of the situations I have with some of these women, what I thought about what they thought about me. And I got the impression, and this goes into my series on alpha males versus thugs, bad boys, nice guys, and women. Check that out. But I got the impression that a lot of black women, like I said before, black women have categories. Women seem to pride themselves on being able to categorize a man, sizing the guy up. You know, knowing what type of guy he is immediately, you know, within like 5 seconds of meeting him or something like that. And what my personal experiences, and this is why I'm relating this to you guys, is that it seemed to me that over the years, a lot of, well, just women in general, but a lot of black women didn't really seem to have, they seem to not be able to categorize me, you know, as efficiently as they would, you know, most other men. So I think what it was that a lot, you know, me sort of being this nice guy, sort of uppity, maybe a little nerdy, you know, elements to my personality, but at the same time I think that they were intrigued by me because I had other elements that really didn't fit that mold or that stereotype. For example, one of the things that I think a lot of brothers, a lot of the quote nice guys, I think we group ourselves and we're not really as individual as and as independent of one another and as unique as we think we are in a lot of ways. And a lot of nice guys, or a lot of the corny brothers, or smart, you know, nerdy, but whatever you want to call them, a lot of brothers, you know, don't really stand out from the crowd. Because, you know, these guys usually, you know, they're usually easygoing or whatever. But most people generally don't explore the range of experiences in life as much of it as they could. For example, what I would do, I would force myself to go outside of my, you know, of whatever the set parameters of my experiences were on an everyday basis. I would try to experience new things. For example, when I was like 17, I started listening to like classical music. You know, I hated it when I started, but I just did it just to get away from the norm of what everybody else was doing. When I was in school, when I was in college, you go wherever you went, everybody had their own little crew, you know, especially the ethnic groups. Black kids beat the black kids, white kids the white kids, the Mexican kids the Mexican, the Indians, the Asians. Everybody was all in their little group. What I would do is I would go and I would talk to everybody. You know what I mean? I would go talk to the Indian guy, the Indian folks, man. You know, if let's just say, you know, the Mexican group, you know, was putting on some type of you know, celebrate our Heritage Day thing and giving a presentation, I would go to that to try to learn about their culture. And a lot of times I would be like the only black person there. You know, at all these different events. You know, this is just an example from college. So trying to cultivate this type of general awareness of my environment and trying to learn as much as possible, I think put me in sort of a category where I really couldn't be categorized, because the stereotypes, you know, you could apply them to me in a certain way, but in another way it was like I was beyond being labeled and cased in and blocked into this little, you know, this little ball of a person that, you know, women put categories and put men in these little categories. And you have to do that. If you don't put the door, you open the door, you don't put that in the door category, you have to relearn what a door is and how to operate every time you went to a door. But I think what it is that a lot of women, black women, I don't think are really used to the sort of nice guy, being as much of an explorer and an adventurer as I was. And another thing that was different about me was, I explained this in my other video on nice guys. I tried to relate my knowledge to the real world. You know what I mean? Even though I was I really wasn't that academically accomplished. I could have done much better, but school, I hated school, so I just didn't in a lot of cases. I just was didn't apply myself as much as I could have. And I understood school to be what it was, which was more of an indoctrination process rather than an educational process, but that's here nor there. So, like what I would do, I mean, there was times where I was in high school, I would skip class and go and read philosophy books in the library. You know what I mean? So even though I had, the general characteristics of some of these stereotypes of the uppity Negro, the nerd / nice guy, I was always doing things that go beyond where I was. And I think if a lot of brothers did that more often, it would sort of elevate them beyond just these little stereotypes, that they try to, the media and whatever little institutions try to, label intelligent young black men, as wanting to be white or whatever. And I think that's a healthy practice, to go outside and move beyond your boundaries and your current paradigms, and to learn more and explore and expand your consciousness and everything that you, in your life and what you're trying to learn. Meet new people, go places where you normally wouldn't go. And that's what I did. So I think a lot of these sisters, even though they kind of thought, yeah, maybe, he is like that, maybe, but I really don't know, because it's these other sides to him I ain't never really seen before. And so I think at the end of the day, a lot of sisters appreciate a nice, good brother, but I think the subconscious stereotypes, the subconscious media images of these stereotypes are so strong. I think if a brother hasn't done enough to kind of remove himself from that situation and expand himself beyond that, then he gets labeled as the uppity Negro. You want to be white, you like white women, you a nerd, you corny, you this, you that. And so this is an encouragement to the sisters and to the nice guys, and especially young cats, man, maybe in high school or college, to be yourself, but go beyond, where you are, man, and explore more what the world is. And I think a lot of just black women aren't really used to men or educated men having knowledge beyond just a textbook academic setting. I studied physics formally when I was in high school, but when I got out of high school, I read about Isaac Newton, I read about Einstein, I read the personal biographies of these cats to understand how they thought. So I kind of connected what I learned in school with the real world, and that kind of gave me a more worldly viewpoint, and that I express with people, and I carry that, and that's just part of my aura. So at the end of the day, I think a lot of black women do appreciate a young, educated, brother. I just think the stereotypes, man, and the media images have just done such a job on directing their unconscious, to kind of avoid those type of brothers, man, that, it's just, it's really overpowering. So anyway, I guess that's a rant, but anyway, that's part 2. So hope I was able to contribute, and I hope this helped. So peace.